So when you roll up to your incident, this is how the J21 is going to look. Your cargo area is going to be full of your tents, your tables, your ice chest, whatever you may need is going to be right here. That way when you get it there with your vehicle, a side-by-side, a four-wheeler, whatever, can easily hook up to it and get to the unreachable places with a normal truck. So underneath the trailer you have a skid rail, and the purpose of that is if you're in high water areas, down treed areas, your skid rail is going to hit before your axle does, bringing the trailer up, allowing the tires to go over whatever you may need to. This trailer, like all of our OMGs, is tough. Why is it so tough? Well, first of all, it's made out of 14 gauge tubular steel. Also, it's welded by our certified craftsmen, and it's on a 3,500 pound axle with 600 pound leaf springs. Every natural disaster that's happened in the last 12 years, the OMG has participated in. It's also been in war zones in other countries feeding refugees. So once you get done unloading your last item, you just walk around front and move it up. The OMGs, all the OMGs, is they're extremely versatile. You can set them up in multiple different ways. Like you can see here, we've got tents up, we've got tables up. Our serving line is right here, so you can make your plates here, come over here, serve your customers or your incident victims, whatever you're doing that day. But you don't have to set it up that way. The OMG is meant to be buffet style. Buffet style is the fastest way to serve people there really is. So you will also have a 5 cubic foot freezer on the J21. On this particular model for our demo, we did use this, which is a refrigerator up top, freezer down bottom. And if that's something that you want more, we can absolutely do that as well. So here on the serving side, if you do use it buffet style, you have 3 steam wells with a burner in the middle. The outer 2 are going to stay hot with the residual heat. You can set it up any configuration you want, halves, wholes, thirds, just depending on how much food you have that day. You also have the tray slide here. You have your counter here where your plates and silverware is, and then you have your tray slide here. You know, for those that are making plates for kids, it's easily to slide down. You can do 2 at a time. And down here you have your soup pot that does sit on its own burner, and if you watch our video about the flow of food, you'll find out why. So you also have a hot water on demand system right here. Up here in this compartment you have 5 gallons of fresh water that hooks directly to this, so you do have cold water, hot water. You can wash your hands, just let it go into the bucket, wash the utensil if you drop it, whatever you need to do. Unlike any other OMG, with the J21, all of your pans and lids are going to come included. The purpose is for the trailer to be ready to go when you get where you're going. Or, if you do require a 3 compartment sink, we can add that as well. So once you get to where you're going and you get set up, the awnings can be flipped all the way up, and that gives you plenty of room to put your sponsorship branding and show who supports you being out there. But if you are going to use a tent, you do have hooks on each corner of the trailer to tie your tent to so they don't start blowing away. So back to the front of the trailer, the tongue is removable just like all of our OMGs. That way when you're serving, you don't have a tripping hazard, and also it's theft protection. You know, you got to think of some of these areas that you're going in. People may want your stuff, but you need it. You can't help people without it. So you remove your tongue, carry it with you, put it in your truck, whatever you want to do until you're ready to load up and go to the next place. Now, here you have your pantry. In your pantry, you can keep all of your pots and pans while you're getting to where you're going. You have room for your food. You have a propane tank in here. You have your battery, your winch system, your 3,000 watt inverter in here, and then you also have a 5 gallon freshwater tank up here. On this trailer, you can carry a lot of tables. So you can put tables on either side of you, in front of you, set it up like a galley kitchen, so you have plenty of prep area. The J21 is fast, but you can only cook as much as you can prep. One of the big uses for the J21 is going to be by contractors, roofers, insurance agents, all the big corporations that go down there to help with incident response. They also have to have a way to feed their people while they're down there helping. They also still have to work, and this doesn't take away from valuable community resources that are already limited during this time. But they have to eat. The J21 was designed for a cook, by a cook, with the purpose of feeding as many people a nice comforting meal as possible in a highly distressful environment. Do you want to meet him?
Thanks, Pastor. Get out of my kitchen.
Hi.
Okay, the first thing that we started with was the 36 inch. On this one we went with NSF, so we used the stainless steel version of this. I actually prefer the Blackstone. I think the Blackstone's a little faster, and it will cut the cost of the trailer up for it a little bit. And the reason that we went with a flat griddle is because of the versatility of it and the things that it'll do. When we did a test on it, it cooked 300 grilled cheeses in an hour, and the thing that slowed us down was we had 2 preppers, and that's all they could prep. That's as fast as they could do it. So it's really, really fast. But it's not just grilled cheeses and hamburgers. If you're scrambling hamburger meat or something like that, think spaghetti. How do you do spaghetti? Well, that's really easy because we have burners over here, and we even have an inside colander. So you can do your noodles in there. Then once all of that's done, dump it to this side. Put your sauces here, your garlic bread here that we do over here, and then your spaghetti. Spaghetti's fast, and it feeds people for under $1 a person. You know, and that's a good meal for under $1 a person. So that's a pretty good situation. We really thought about hobo stew when we put together this trailer, and the reason it was hobo stew is because being out there, you see the donations that come in, and sometimes they're, you know, you got a case of corn, and you got a case of peas, you got a case of this, a case of that. The best thing for us to do is any cook can do this, can create a hobo stew out of this by combining those ingredients to make a stew. There's a reason why there's a term soup kitchen, because that is the fastest way to feed people and feed them a good meal, you know, get a little bit of comfort and warmth inside of them. And also the other thing you got to think about is the nutrients that are in that soup are warding them off from the diseases that are present during disaster situations. Nobody ever thinks about the diseases, but you have to feed them to keep their immune system up high so that they don't get sick. So that's pretty important. I always like to keep a pan here with a little hot water boiling because we carry Roman noodles with us, or romaine noodles with us, so that, you know, we can give them to the kids. That's a real comforting food for them. They'll take that over a ribeye, you know, because that's something they're used to getting, and mentally it really helps them to get something like that. So, you know, you got a little bit of hot water over here, or you got a little bit of hot water over there, you know, to kind of keep the cup of soups going. If you're doing a breakfast, it also is really good for the packaged oatmeal if that's what you were given. Remember, you got to prepare what you were given. So you have oatmeal that you can prepare by the packets, or you can prepare it in a big pot and put it over there. I don't know how many of you ever grew up on breakfast rice, but I did. So you can do a lot of things with white rice, whether it's butter and sugar in it, create a good breakfast, or some people mix eggs in it, and it's, I don't know, I think that's technically a bouillon. But either way, so there's a lot of advantages to it. The thing I really like about the J21 is the burner on that side, I control it from right here. If it's too high, I turn it down. If it's too low, then I kick it up. And I do all of that from right here. And I also control this down here. You notice how I'm blocked off? Because people always want to send, well, you can use the word sous chef or prep cooks, but they always want to send them to help you. But 9 times out of 10, I'm running over them, okay? Any of you cooks know exactly what I'm talking about. So this separates them right here. Y'all come with me. You can do it right there. So what it is, we set this table up here because prepping is a big part of it. I mean, let's be honest, it takes 3 people to prep for 1 cook, and you don't want 3 people up on top of you, so you move those people off to these side tables, and they're prepping for you. Now the prep station that's right here, I really like this one because it gives you this table, this table, this table, and then we moved in another one right there. So the cool thing about it is they got their knife holder up here, they pull their knife down, they're chopping vegetables or whatever they're doing, and they can go directly to the pot. These pots right here are meant to resupply that pot over there. So that one should already be cooked and ready to go. These over here, you know, you just cut them, throw them in there, and you've created it. I don't know how many of you ever heard the term goulash, but goulash is a really great thing to use in emergency management situations because, you know, you can do your elbow noodles here, throw in some red sauce, throw in some meats, whatever you got, and you've created an actual goulash. Peppers, onions, whatever you got. You got to work with what you got. So goulash is a really good way to do this too. Y'all seen in the other videos that we have a potato smash. That sucker's back here. And the reason is not to do French fries. But if you want to do French fries, you got 3 fryers. You can obviously do French fries if you want to. And I know that the guys down in Louisiana are just trying to add up how many crawfish you think you can boil on this thing at one time. Drop it in the comments how many you think. I have no idea, but we figured it out together. But anyway, the potato smasher, even though it's cutting it up into fries, it cooks a lot faster if you bust it up into a fry and then throw it in there, so that it doesn't take the potato as long to get to the texture that you're trying to get it to. Okay, so remember, the mission is to feed as many people as we possibly can in a short period of time, or, you know, provide support for our team that's out there who, you know, if you've ever been out there, you've ever worked these situations, you know that food is a really big problem out there. So this pot is purposely way bigger than that pot, and it's because you can resupply off of those pots without overfilling it. It does have a burner up underneath it, so like I say, you can fry and boil it. You can do your first round right here, or maybe you're just dumping cans of beans and stew or whatever you were given in here. So everything's moving pretty quick. We like to use a big old ladle so that we get 1 cup at every ladle. You know, you don't want to be just sitting here dipping, so get the right ladle, or just use a regular cup and dump it in there so that you're moving your line. We did a test on the lines, and we know that we can feed 1,000 without ever busting up the line. And how would we bust up the line? I'm going to show you. Okay, first of all, over here, you can see that the chef over there, the cook over there, is not moving around the trailer. They're taking their food directly from there and putting it right here. I mean, that's the OMG feature. But if I want to move a soup pot over here, then I can. And now, instead of everybody coming down this line, I've now broken it up and I have 2 lines. Now, you know that 300 an hour sounds like a lot of people, but it's really not in these situations. You know, so now we have 2 lines. Boom, we come in, they flare both sides, we're feeding twice as many people. Okay, so on this particular one right here, we chose to use the refrigerator freezer combination, and that's because it's our demo. It's the one that we take out and show corporations and things like that. And I did that so we could put drinks and stuff in here like that. Normally we would put a freezer on there, and the reason we always put freezers on the OMG is because you can get it plugged in and it's ready to go, and in Texas it'll last 3 days unplugged. So basically it's a glorified ice chest. That's really all it is. If you do need to plug it in and run it, then you have a generator station in the back and you can plug it in. But you're going to find that that's really not what you're out there to do, and you probably don't need it unless you're on a 7 to 14 day, you know, stay. And most of the time in these situations you are. This right here is the hot water heater. We didn't put our normal sink on it because we were trying to save space. You got to remember, we wanted 10 foot so that it's easily maneuverable, and it can get to places where food trucks and other food trailers would never even dream of getting. You got to get to where the people are in some situations. Sometimes you can evacuate to them, but you can't always do that, a la North Carolina. Okay. Over here, we have a way just for them to wash their hands, and you know, if you drop something, wash it off and everything. If you really think that you need a sink, we have one that we can design for this one. It's basically just a catch sink that'll do that in a freezer combination. Just call us and we'll talk about what we need to modify that and get it done.
If you have an organization, a 501(c), a charity, any kind of an organization that not only goes out in disaster areas, but maybe feeds the needy or the homeless or the people in your community or even your church or anything like that, if you have an organization such as that, reach out to us, because we may know somebody who's just waiting to sponsor that type of organization. We also have fundraising companies that believe in our mission that we can get you in touch with. Or if you want to save the commission, we have packets that we can mail out to you and you can do it yourself. With the J21, your pots and pans are also included. For more information on the J21, check out our website, omgrills.com, or give us a call, 817-382-2728. We'd love to talk to you.